this is actually not a What We Read, which is a change.
But at the same time, it also is, because...
Actually, this is more like a dedicated book feels
it's like
reveal.
it's more like a What We Read special edition.
I was gonna say review, but I'm like, I don't really think it's gonna be.
No, it's not a review, because to absolutely nobody's surprise, we are allotting one entire episode for just
Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare.
That is right. Some of you have seen Alexis sort of Instagram stories where she was like, oh my god, we got the book, what are we going to do? And then, you know, obviously we proceeded to devour this book in as little time as possible. Let's just get started. First of all, why are we doing this?
First of all, we wanted to do this so that we could give you a spoiler-free, sort of series of thoughts of how we felt in general about this book. This is not a full review. This is not our full feelings. If you want those, you're going to have to wait for our combined YouTube video / podcast for Fandom
Yeah,
Buzz.
we're doing a crossover.
We're doing a Bookish Breakdown, but it's going to be sort of a live one. So it's going to be real fun, and you're going to hear us talk full spoilers there.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it's not coming out until a little bit after release
date.
Sure,
because
so
that's
that you have
the
time
proper
to
thing to do.
Exactly. But anyway, so Chain of Iron is the second book in the Last Hour series.
Written by Cassandra Clare, for those of you who don't know.
Yeah, and it is...
If you're new to the channel...
Book XXX in the Shadowhunters universe at this point. There are so many books before this one. And here's the thing, granted, you could probably just dive into this one after reading some of the books, but to get the full experience the way that we both have had, you kind of want to maybe read everything.
So two things. The elements of this book and the experience of it stands magnificently on every book written so far.
Yes.
More importantly, a lot of the characters were first introduced in not even the main book series itself, but it's sort of like the little side collection of Ella stories. So with that in mind, like Alexa said, you could totally dive in, or you could totally just read everything else and then get to this point. Either way, it will be worth it.
Yeah.
At least to us.
Chain of Iron is set in Edwardian London. It actually features the generation that comes after the generation of Shadowhunters in the Infernal Devices.
That's correct.
And in this book, it picks up pretty much right where we left off at the end of Chain of Gold.
Exactly where we left off.
We're not going to tell you how Chain of Gold ends, because you're going to have to find that out for yourselves. But anyway, this continues the story of Cordelia Carstairs, James Herondale, and all of their friends, as everybody juggles their own secrets and shenanigans, work out their feelings about themselves and about other people, and also try to track down the serial murderer that's targeting Shadowhunters in London.
And that's the new thing. I mean, because amidst all of the revelry and the issues and the things that are brewing, somebody's murdering Shadowhunters all over London, and nobody knows who, and so we gotta find out how and why.
This sequel is just so brilliant, and I've said this on multiple platforms, but for posterity, let me say it on YouTube too. I was like, you know, Chain of Iron punched me in the feels, and I said thank you, because what else am I supposed to do, right? The thing about this book is, sure, there is an action plot where they're trying to figure out who this murderer is. And there are also a few other things going on with the Shadowhunters world in this book. But it's primarily actually a character-driven story, because we're seeing these characters kind of work out for themselves how far they're willing to go and what lengths they're willing to take in order to get to their end goals, basically. It's an interesting thing, especially
or run
because,
away from stuff.
True.
Anyway,
especially because we love these characters, and I think at the core of it, that's the reason why this book worked so well for us. This series worked so well for us and is our favorite. It's because we love the entire cast of characters,
which is rare. That rarely ever happens. That that there's unconditional love for absolutely everyone in the main sort of circle.
Yeah, and by everyone, we basically just mean Cordelia Carstairs, and actually I have a soft spot for her brother too, Alistair. And then we have James Herondale and his sister Lucy, we have Matthew Fairchild, we have Christopher Lightwood, Anna Lightwood, and Thomas Lightwood, primarily. Yeah. There are a couple of other characters.
Like the core.
Yeah, there are a couple of other characters in the story too, and some we feel soft on, and some we feel not so soft on.
Yeah, there's a couple of blackthorns in there. Let's leave it at that. The point is,
because we have very strong feelings for these characters, and we care so much about what happens to them, and just want them to get some sense of peace and stability in their lives. We obviously are very invested in the outcomes of their stories. And even when they're making frustrating choices or being, I don't know, manipulated by forces beyond their control, we're just like, we just want the best for you and we'll be along for the ride and we're here to watch it all go down, even if it's painful or even if it's hard.
And here's the general consensus with a few people that we've sort of had to like trade ideas with who have either started or have read or whatever. If you love these characters in any way, form, or fashion, yeah, I was pretty much sobbing through the entire book. Like, she was like right there.
I think I screamed like, more than I sobbed because
I
there was
was
just
crying
too much
a lot.
screaming
I was just
for me.
like, it's just, because it's so rare that you get to find a book, and this is really why we love The Last Hour's characters. It's so rare that you get a group of characters where their inciting incident has nothing to do with the strength of their bonds.
Yes.
At all. Like, even in some of our favorite series, like the Tamara Pierce series with its siblings, in the
Sure.
their inciting incident for that one last book was, you know, will they keep their bonds? Will they be able to return to that place where they were sort of like one little clutch of like whatever? Here, everything else is in question except those loves. Which makes it even more perilous storytelling for, well, story reading for the reader, because it's like, well, what happens in a terrible Shadowhunter world where people like die and like whatever? So just, it's so precious that, and it's so refreshing to not have to worry about, is this gonna ruin like their friendship? It's not. Nothing, I feel
like nothing will ruin their friendship.
So that's not what the stories are about. So, and it creates such a different dynamic. And if you're into that, if you're into like found families, here's the thing. The only thing better than me for found families is family that are friends and friends that are family.
Yes, I think that's also
both.
part of why it hits so hard too, because we're lucky enough to have that in our
Yeah,
own
because we
lives.
do have that. So
to see it on page is so nice.
Yeah, it's just insane, and so it's bonkers. Like, I can't, like, it'll just be like endless, just endless screaming.
Okay, I was going to say, I do have something to say about the screaming. I did get emotional and I also got teary-eyed a lot of times, but I think a lot of the reason I scream so much is because Cassandra Clare just knows how to work them fanfic tropes into her stories, and she uses so many that I love. Like, I cannot even tell you. There's a particular part in this book where I'm like, it's this trope, this trope, this trope, this trope, and I'm here for it all.
And here's the deal, right?
Like, I don't even want to tell you what tropes, because spoilers.
Well, of course.
This will happen maybe in Bookish Breakdown.
We won't tell you here, but we will tell you
But, like,
eventually.
The thing about fanfic tropes is they exist because they work. And a lot of us are fans of these tropes. Like, we have preferences for these tropes.
And we don't...
she literally uses every single one
here's the thing.
in a way that makes sense. It's not just like randomly, oh, fanfic trope for you.
And the thing about fanfic tropes is that it's just patterns of storytelling that are just pleasing and resonant with particular readers. I'm the kind of canon purist where I don't feel anything bad about fan fiction at all. In fact, I love it. I wish that I was not a canon purist, so I could have written some freaking fan fiction on my own, but I just couldn't. It's just so good, to the point where if you take said writing patterns and you give me the characters in canon, I'm like, is this what you guys feel when you read?
And I was like, yes, that's the only thing we look for.
And I'm just like, I want that so much, because that's exactly how I felt with this thing. So yes, I'm like, it's this the magical world of fan fiction. I'm like, why
we do it?
And here's why. It's like my question. It's like, why isn't canon like this?
I mean, it is now.
That's why fan fiction exists, because canon isn't like it. But then canon is like it. So it's the beautiful Venn diagram like overlap. However, I will say this one thing, and that again, also a similar consensus with some of the folks who have sort of like read whatever. Cassandra Clare writes her characters and the way they love each other in the book the way I feel the audience loves the characters. So the exact same way you would love, let's say, a Matthew Fairchild is the exact same way that the characters in the story love Matthew Fairchild. Yep. So there's that weird meta resonance that is happening that heightens the whole experience of, oh my god, these are my friends and my family forever. And it's just like, I can't, that's it.
I don't know. I love Cassandra Clare's character work in general, just because I think she does...
This particular character work.
She does such a good job. I think she's finally found that sweet spot where she can give you a realistic character, because they're not perfect. In fact, in this book, so many characters make frustrating choices that make you want to shake them. But at the same time, like,
real.
Yeah, exactly. At the same time, that just grounds them in reality a little bit better. It also gives you more to latch onto, because if it's harder to latch onto a character that's too perfect or too evil. It's actually harder to latch onto a character that's too much in either direction. And I think what Cassandra Clare does extremely well here is just giving you a person.
Yeah, there's nuance, there's resonance, there's, it's...
And like, to tie this all together, like what we were saying earlier, actually, the reason this one is so impactful is, honestly, if you think about it, a lot of the foundation she's laid in every other book and every other series. Not only when it comes to the world, but also in general, how Shadowhunters stories play out. Like, you can already sense the direction, and your body senses it, basically. Like, you know before the point of impact that something is gonna happen.
Exactly. And though that happens for the most part, it also doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
And she manages to surprise you. It's like, you know where it's going, but you don't know how it's gonna play out. And that's what, like, so I read this first, and then Alexa was starting reading it next, and Alexa's like, I know where this is going. And I'm like, I know you know where this is going, but you will not know where it's gonna end up.
And I did not.
And we were both like, what? And I'm just there. And so to my friends, that's like, what's happening? I said like a little like animated, you know, whatever. I was like this dude staring out at like a giant fire, like a forest fire, and I'm like, this is me at the end of Chain of Iron. I'm just gonna watch all of this, like.
Also, so I guess the last thing, since we're gonna end this video soon, because there's no way we can keep talking about
this is just gonna be more.
I will say, if you were traumatized by how Chain of Gold ended, you'll feel the same level of trauma.
If
it persists.
If you're the type. Because I was not traumatized at all.
I wasn't either, but I'm pretty sure there are going to be a ton of people.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's going to be like, it's like very, very strong feelings. There will be very, very strong. Like, I would be surprised if there weren't any strong feelings.
Oh, there's definitely going to be strong feelings. I mean, clearly we have strong feelings.
I mean, and it's going to be polarizing, I think. I will stand roughly, because at least Alexa was like, she really was like sort of it was terrible. It was terrible. It's like, I'll say it, it's terrible. So she's sort of more in the middle where she's like, she's going to be cool about it, but it's terrible. I feel like I'm gonna be exactly sort of on the opposite where I'm just like, we gonna see what's happening next, right? That's gonna, what are we gonna do about this?
Like, I'm so excited for the third book, but we won't even talk about theories in this video because that's gonna come in the Bookish Breakdown as well.
Yeah. So it's traumatizing in a great way.
The bottom line is, like I said, Chain of Iron punched me in the feels, and I said thank you because it was great. It was a really good second book in a series. Truly, truly good. And we both really enjoyed it. And I think that's really the bottom line. Like, we basically told you why.
And by the time this video comes up, it'll be
it should be out
for like a couple of days.
It'll probably come out. I'll probably put this up on the day of.
Yeah, oh, there you go. So
when you're gonna see it.
Exactly. Like, literally strap in, hang on, because this is the first chapter. It's like, what's happening? If you're a huge fan, that's the caveat. Like, if you don't really care too much about the Chain of Gold kids, then yeah, alright, sure.
Full caveat too, by the way. Like, I think it's also because both Macky and I have come to the point where we are content to let Cassandra Clare lead us through the story versus us expecting things to happen.
Yeah, we're just
like, we want things to happen, but it's also not the kind of story where we're like, we expect that this is this.
Yeah, we're
just like, you can do whatever you want.
You can do whatever you want. We're here for the ride. We're those types of readers. So it was, oh boy,
it was great.
So strap in, kids, and if you have strong feelings,
quite a ride.
May the odds be ever in your favor.
Different fandom, but you know, still applies. Anyway, we hope you enjoyed hearing our non-spoilery thoughts on Chain of Iron. As we mentioned already, you have to keep an eye out for our spoilery thoughts.
The real feelings are coming out.
And that's when you're going to get the full brunt of all these feelings we've had. But yes, definitely check out Chain of Iron. It's so good. That's all I got. Anyway, if you have any thoughts on the book or, you know, our feelings about the book, leave them down below, and you can also find us on our other social media. We'll see you guys soon with another video. Bye!